What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to just give you my overall thoughts on how mainly the main card of UFC 309 went down, thoughts on some of the wins, and who took the L's. I just want to give you my overall breakdown of this card, starting with, and I want to talk about this, and I wish I made a prediction for this. I don't know why I didn't. Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig. Guys, Bo Nickel's a bum. He is a bum. And when this fight ended, for some reason, I was kind of giving Bo Nickel a little bit of credit. I was like, it's a solid win, I guess. He looked decent. But then I really thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. This is Paul Craig we're talking about here. This is not only a fighter who never had good striking ever, he's also not in his prime, and I consider him a dead body. I mean, Paul Craig is a dead body. So, when I look at this fight, and the fact that Bo Nickel lost the first round, and yeah, he won the next two, not by like a significant amount or anything. Yeah, he clearly won him, but nothing special. I mean, he's basically squeaking by Paul Craig, who has no striking. He was afraid to go to the ground with him. This guy sucks. I mean, this guy's called out Hamza. He's called out Hamza. He called out all the big names. And I mean, this is what he's doing against Paul Craig. I mean, it's just embarrassing. And you have the crowd chanting overrated. When does the crowd chant overrated ever at UFC fights? Listen, if you guys know an example of one that's happened, let me know. But I can't remember in all my time of watching that anyone's ever chanted overrated. So, I mean, Bo Nickel, he's a can. He's a bum. And he's just hyped up by the UFC to be something that he's not. That's all he is. And, all those NCAA titles at Penn State don't mean shit at the end of the day. And this guy's a bum. I mean, this guy is a bum. That's all I'm going to say. He's nothing special. I don't even know if he gets in the top 15, it will be through the easiest path maybe ever to the top 15. Because he's not good. And he's like almost 30 years old. He's not some young guy who's developing. He's not going to strike with people at a high level. Striking looks awful. I mean, the commentator team was like, oh, he's standing in front of Paul Craig. Paul Craig stinks. He sucks. So, nothing more to talk about. Get this guy off main card, by the way. This guy opened up UFC 300. And this guy was a featured fight for a Madison Square Garden card. I mean, are we serious here? I mean, that's just how bad this card was, honestly, besides the top two fights, and mainly the co-main event. I mean, the women's fight, who cares about that? I mean, you had a Ruffy. They're calling Ruffy comparing him to Conor McGregor. I just didn't understand it at all. And obviously he's not like a scrub like Bo Nickel, but I mean, what are we comparing this guy to Conor McGregor for? The glazing of some of these fighters by the commentary team just makes no sense to me. But moving on to the co-main event, and in my opinion, obviously, I think most people's, probably everyone's, the best fight on the card going into it, and it turned out to be the best fight on the card. Charles Oliveira looked great. Absolutely dominated Michael Chandler for 5 straight rounds. And you might be like, well, 5 straight rounds, Chandler looked, won the 5th round, almost got him out of there. Michael Chandler was not only a pathetic human being coming into this fight for what he did, the way he groveled and begged for the Conor McGregor fight. He was not only pathetic for that. Not only is he pathetic for Ariel Helwani's show, basically indicating that he cheated on his wife. If you don't believe me, go watch that. He is pathetic because he is single-handedly the biggest cheater I've ever seen in UFC history. Every single round, this guy was cheating. The fence grabs, I mean, they were insane. The guy was not just grabbing the fence, he was grabbing the outside of the octagon, like the top of it. He was grabbing the outside of it to hold him up. He was grabbing the gloves every single fight. And you go look at the Dustin Poirier fight, he was fish hooking him. He was he was grabbing his glove, I'm pretty sure too, but he was putting his fingers in his mouth. I don't know if he grabbed his glove, he probably did, but he blew his nose right, he moved his nose right into Poirier's mouth, and then blew his nose so blood would go into Poirier's mouth. I mean, this guy is a dirty piece of shit. This guy's an absolute piece of shit. He's a bum of a fighter. I don't give a fuck about his Bellator titles. When you fight like this, I don't care who you are. You are he's 2-4 in the UFC too? Well, one of his wins is against Tony Ferguson. So basically he had one win. And that Dan Hooker that he fought, I don't think is as good as the Dan Hooker now. I think Dan Hooker's had a total resurgence in his career. This guy's pathetic. He got destroyed. And those back of the head shots that he was landing on Oliveira, someone that even, what's even more disturbing is that Keith Peterson didn't do anything about it. He eye poked Oliveira twice and then ran forward. I mean, this guy is, and Keith Peterson didn't stop the fight. I mean, 13 straight back of the head shots at Oliveira, and Keith Peterson's looking right at it and doesn't do shit. I'm not pretty sure. I know Michael Chandler was laying back of the head shots when Oliveira took him down too. I mean, it's just pathetic. And not only is his career over, thank God, not only will he never get Conor McGregor, that fight, and he called him out too. I mean, absolutely pathetic. It was so cringy. I mean, I should get some of my money back for the pay-per-view for having to listen to Chandler call that out. I mean, and on top of that, you at Chandler, everything about him, everything this guy says, makes me hate him more. And the way he fights, I don't care if he's excited. He needs to be cut. That's what we're going to say. He needs to be cut from the organization. He does not win fights. He's a bum. He is not an active fighter. He should not even be ranked. And he should be cut from the organization. Because we don't need Chandler in here. His career's done. Cut him. Send him to retirement. I don't even know. I don't even want to talk about this guy anymore. But Charles Oliveira, my favorite fighter of all time, absolutely dominated him. And the only reason why he didn't finish him when he had his back is because Chandler was holding the glove the whole time. Chandler would have gone finished. The only reason Oliveira didn't finish him. But I mean, Oliveira, he looked composed. He took his time. And he really, part of me thinks that like he's almost like preparing for like Islam in a way. Like that he knows that like if I fight Islam, I have to be more defensively responsible. I have to be smarter. I have to take my time. Let Islam give me the openings, then I can go counter. Because Oliveira obviously has massive power. I thought he was going to get him out of there. I mean, he was making Chandler run for his life. I mean, Charles looks so good. He would have gone the finish if Chandler wasn't cheating and he won all 5 rounds. I'm not giving Chandler that win. If you subtract all the cheating in round 5, Oliveira won the round anyways. So Oliveira, 50-45 Michael Chandler. Great win. And in the lightweight division, after Islam Arman, the winner of that, I guess if Arman wins, I'm guessing you would probably do a rematch. But if Islam wins, Oliveira's next in line, man. And I'm happy because I'm a big fan of his. And the lightweight division is kind of similar to the middleweight division where there's not really like, after Arman, a clear-cut number 1 contender. I mean, you're not going to give it to Dustin. You're not going to give it to Gaethje. Obviously, you're not going to give it to Holloway. So it's just, there's not really that clear-cut number 1 guy. You're not going to give it to Dan Hooker. So Oliveira, with this win, an amazing performance. As I said, should have finished Michael Chandler. Just got himself back in the title picture if Islam wins. If Arman wins, you have to do a trilogy. That you just kind of have to. But if Islam wins, but who knows? Maybe Arman wins and they throw Oliveira and they do a rematch there. But Charles Oliveira is in a great division. He's in a great division, but in a great situation, and just added another, top 10 win. Not that Chandler should be ranked at all, but just added another really good win to his resume and just enhance his legacy even more. While Chandler just wastes 2 years of his career, is the biggest cheater I've ever seen in my life, and cheats on his wife too. I'm pretty sure, but it's just this guy is. And by the way, for that type of stuff, I have no proof that Chandler did that, but on the Ariel Helwani show, it sounded like he was indicating to that. It sounded like go watch it. I wish I could just pull up the clip right now, but go watch it. And if you watch it, what else is he indicating to? I don't know what else he'd be talking about there. So I'm not trying to say it's a fact, but man, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. But great win by Charles Oliveira. Chandler needs to be cut, needs to retire. Never want to see him fight again. Don't care if he's excited. Never want to see him fight again. Moving on to the main event. Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Listen, no one wanted this fight. We want Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall, but this fight did one thing for me. It really showed me that Jon Jones is still him. And he looked fantastic in this fight. Absolutely fantastic. And I see people, go on, social media and all that stuff. They're going like, oh, Jones looked horrible. If you think Jones looked horrible in this fight, two things. Either you just hate Jon Jones a lot, which to be fair, I get a lot of people do. He's a horrible person, but we're just talking strictly fighting here. You're biased and you hate Jon Jones if you think he looked horrible, or you're just dumb as fuck. Though one of the two. And because he looked unbelievable. And Stipe, I know he's 42, But I think John Jones, I know John Jones destroys Stipe anyways. You could take Stipe from 7 years ago and put him in this fight on Saturday, and John Jones whoops his ass, and I think it looks basically exactly the same. Heavyweight sucks. That's just the fact. Heavyweight is ass. It always has been. And John Jones, from the light heavyweight scale, and the fact that John Jones is the most well-rounded fighter in the history of the sport. He is the most effective wrestling, the most effective striking in the sport, maybe ever. I mean, he just looked fantastic. Took him down with ease, bullied him, 10-8'd him in the first round. And something that I think no one's going to talk about is John Jones. He could have taken him down in the second round and finished him there easily. But John Jones, he wanted reps. He wanted octagon time. And I think he wanted to prove a point strike of Stipe. He was like, this is the only way Stipe has a chance to beat me is on the feet. But John Jones, I don't care that his striking looks slow. His striking's always looked a little funky. It's always looked a little slow. But guess what? It works every time against strikers, against wrestlers. It doesn't matter. It's not about how it looks. Not everything's about if you're the greatest kickboxer ever. It's about how effective it is. And John Jones is the definition of effective. That's why he's the GOAT. And I sound like I'm almost Dana White here, but this right now, it's all truth. This is all the truth. And if John Jones is active, he should probably move the pound for pound #1 if he is active. Obviously, if he retires, you can stay. It is what it is. But I don't think he's gonna retire. Just guys, we need to pray that Dana White pays John Jones whatever he wants to make Tom Aspinall, because what John Jones revealed in the post-fight, post-fight interview, he literally said, if things go right, talking to Dana, you guys will get what you want. John Jones this entire time, and I kind of had a feeling for this a bit, but I had a feeling he was doing this, but you're never quite sure, honestly, especially with Jones. But John Jones has been publicly negotiating with the UFC this entire time with Tom Aspinall, publicly negotiating, and he said straight up, you pay me what you want, or you pay me what I want, I'll fight Tom Aspinall, and they better pay him, because man, the UFC let Jones versus Ngannou slip, which is would have been the greatest heavyweight fight ever in the history of planet Earth. They let that slip. If they let John Jones versus Tom Aspinall slip, this organization, it's pathetic. Dana White's ego got in the way of Jones versus Ngannou. If it gets in the way, and if he's too cheap and his ego gets in the way of Jones versus Aspinall, what are you? You're not a promoter. You don't like making the fights that the fans want. So Dana White, pay this man whatever. He wants 40 mil, pay him. The pay-per-view, you'll make that back 5 times fold and more. If you make this fight. It's a massive fight. The biggest heavyweight type fight ever, probably. So they better make that fight, because Jones, he looked fantastic. He bullied Stipe in the feet. That spinning kick to the body, and then the finish. It was absolutely beautiful. Stipe had nothing for him. And 10 years ago, Stipe would have nothing for John Jones. It's just a different level of this stuff. And, I guess I kind of want, Jones looked absolutely fantastic. To me, proved that he is. Jones needed to prove to me that after, kind of 2 years not fighting, after the surgery with his pec he had to go through, if, he showed me he still has it. And now I get what. He probably should be pound for pound #1. I respect it. If you think that, I honestly probably agree with you, even though I have no issue with Islam being pound for pound #1, though. I have no issue. But Jones looked fantastic, and hopefully the Aspinall fight gets made. And, at the beginning, over the summer, I was very big on, I think Tom Aspinall beats John Jones. But over the last, I'd say, 4 months, I've kind of really changed my mind, before this fight, too, that Jones wins. Just how well-rounded and elite he is. And Jones always fights up to the perceived level of his opponent, and he knows that he's going to want to make a statement against Tom Aspinall. And I guess quick little prediction, hopefully this fight happens. I think John Jones mauls Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall has a fighting chance, and I know I'm going to get a ton of hate in the comments for this, but Tom Aspinall, listen, he has great power, but he has not fought anyone in the likes of John Jones. Curtis Blades is a bum. Sergey Pavlovich looks like a bum. I know he was on that win. I almost said good win streak, because when you actually look at the wins, they're not very good. He has not fought anyone like John Jones. We don't know if Tom Aspinall can go long in a fight. Yes, does Tom Aspinall have the power to knock anyone out? Yes. Does Tom Aspinall have a puncher's chance? Yes. Does Tom Aspinall have the best chance to beat Jones in the heavyweight division? Yes. That's why the fight needs to be made, because it's such a good fight and it's very compelling. But Jones, man, Jones is not taking a lot of damage in his career. He has a great chin. He barely got hit in this fight, and he looked phenomenal. And I'm telling you, Jon Jones, he can outstrike Tom Aspinall. I know people might think that's crazy, but Jon Jones outstrikes everyone. He outstrikes everyone. Go look at his entire career. This is what he does. Especially he will come ready for this fight too, because when you look at some of the other fights where he kind of fights down to the competition because he's bored, and the perception of like an Anthony Smith isn't, who cares about that guy? But Tom Aspinall, it's going to be like Gustafsson too. Everyone thought Gustafsson was going to beat him in that fight. A lot of people did. Look at Cyril Gane. No one gives him credit for that Gane win. A lot of people thought Gane was going to win that fight, and he takes him down and submits him in 2 minutes. I'm telling you guys, Jon Jones will fight. For that Tom Aspinall, everyone thinks Tom is going to beat him. He will put on a masterclass, and I think he'll get a late, maybe like a 3rd round finish of Tom Aspinall. I don't see Tom Aspinall outstriking him. I don't see him out grappling at all. I think Jones is way better grappler, way better jiu-jitsu. I think he's way better everywhere. But I'll give Tom Aspinall credit. He has the power to knock out anyone. So he has the puncher's chance. But I mean, Tom Aspinall's chin is right there to be hit, guys. And Jones' striking is just so unbelievably effective. So I got, I know this isn't really about UFC 309 there, but I wanted to give my quick kind of prediction for that. But, guys, let me know what you thought about UFC 309, especially, the main card, top 2 fights. Let me know what you think, and make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.